Hey guys, it's Kim. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm here with another Project Pan update. This is for the Eyes Project Pan. It was created by Deb, and her channel's name is Deb B. This was made specifically for people that don't want any rules for an eyeshadow project pan, and that is me. I can't do the pan that palette. I suck at it. I can't even imagine doing that level up project pan, or even the one where you have the random prompts and you have to hit pan or have uses. It's like, I would never use anything other than that one palette because I hardly wear makeup. Well, that's not true. Last month I hardly wore makeup. Whatever, I'm babbling. But the point of the story is I just would not get a ton of usage out of my things. So the fact that this is a project where I can just do what I want and then come back and tell you about the palettes that I've used has been fabulous. So what I do with this project is I update you on my Pan That palette. And the only reason I'm doing a Pan That palette and the Better Together is because it's a little teeny tiny palette this year. And I'm going to update you on my face palette that I'm panning. And then I'm also going to update you on a project that Jen and Andrea and I are doing together that revolves around eyeshadows. And then I'm going to tell you about all the palettes that I used. I don't include single eyeshadows in this just because, I don't know, I don't. Maybe I should. But anyway, let me get into my update. Okay, so it's been a couple of months, and yeah, I have some exciting things to show you. I haven't updated this in a couple months though. Okay, so first let me update you on the Pan That palette. This year's theme is fun-sized Pan That palette, and the theme was created by Jackie Lutens. It is a Fantastic Ladies collab. She does not have a YouTube channel, but I wanted to give her credit. So my fun-sized Pan That palette for this year is the Rowan 1111 quad. This was a really expensive palette that I got for a good deal, and I wanted to get use out of these because, first of all, I want to use them before they dry up. Second of all, I don't know, they're not my favorite formulas. So here's where I'm at with this palette. You can see that it's got some good use on it. This shade here is called Situation, and that one I've used 10 times since the beginning of January, and there is a pan in it, if you can see that pan, yay! The second shade is called Hashtag, and that shade I've used 7 times. Down here is a shade called Chow. I've used that 5 times. And here is Rosy, and I've used that 7 times. So let me show you swatches of these. They're a very weird formula. And the other thing is they crease. There are the shades. So Situation, Hashtag, Chow, and Rosy. They're beautiful. So I can basically use something in that palette for every look. I can tap it over that's why the first one, Situation, has a pan in it, because it's one that I can kind of tap over any look. A lot of times what I end up doing with this palette is I'll use this one in the outer V and in the crease, and then I'll use these two as like transition shades, and then I'll do my powders over them if I'm doing a neutral look, and then I'll use the shade Situation as a topper. Then I decided I was going to do the Better Together part, and that was created by Paula at A Beauty Guru Made Me Do It. So I chose this Revlon quad to go with it. I got this on Amazon for like $1.50 or something like that. It was ridiculous. So these shades, the first one right here is called, well, they don't have names. So shade number 1, I've used 10 times. That one's nice to do as like a topper or a brow bone, or to kind of mix to kind of buff everything together. Shade number 2, I've used 6 times. Shade number 3, I've used 4. And shade number 4, I've used 8 times. So let me swatch these. 1, 2, they're so nice. These shades are so soft and they feel almost creamy. And they do a beautiful look on their own. So there is that. I really like that palette. If you can find the Color Stay Day to Night palettes, I know they have other color stories. I don't even know. I think this was posted in one of those like Facebook groups for deals. And this girl was like, oh my gosh, $1.50 or whatever it was. And I was like, okay. So there's that. I'm going to wipe these swatches off so I have room to swatch other things. Okay, then I decided, you know, to punish myself, I'm going to do a face palette. Don't get too excited because I chose my Film Star Bronze and Glow. This is the mini one from Charlotte Tilbury. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to use it and see how much progress I get. I thought, well, maybe my goal will be to hit pan, you know, which is the goal for these. I don't have a goal to finish these. I have a goal to hit pan in every shade. And so far I've done that with one. So yay me. If you've been around for any length of time, you know hitting pan in anything is a big deal for me. So for the Bronze and Glow, for the bronze shade, I've used that 8 times. The glow shade, I've used 11. So I really like this. It really suits my skin tone. There is more of a dip in the highlighter than there is in the bronzer, but I will show you a swatch of both of these. These do really well on my skin tone. You can see that bronzer is not really that dark. So it's really nice because it just gives a little bit of a glow, or a little bit of a bronze on my skin, on my face. I don't feel like it's orange. I don't feel like it makes me look like I have it on now. I just feel like it kind of looks natural. It's a really nice palette for like wearing to school or just doing a quick look, and I really enjoy it. Then Andrea and Jen and I talked about how, you know, we wanted to get use set of some different palettes, and we were like, well, we kind of wanted to use the same thing. So we decided every quarter we would roll in a new palette or whatever. So I'll go over that in a minute. But anyway, the first palette we rolled in, this was the first quarter's palette, and we rolled in the Glam Light Nearly Natural palette from, did I say Glam Light? Glaminatrix. And here's what this palette looks like. I've only used a few of these shades one time. I neglected you. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. This is a beautiful palette, and I want to get some more use out of that, which is why it was in this project, and I didn't even use it. So the first shade I used was called Untouched, and there is a swatch of Untouched. I used Barely There, and that is a nice brown shade. There's that brown shade, Barely There. Beautiful. This palette performs beautifully. I used New Nude and Exposed. These were 2 shimmers. I mean, hello. Gorgeous. And then I used Stripped Back and Nothing to See. And that is Stripped Back. Oh, this is such a pretty silvery purple and Nothing to See. Oh, so gorgeous. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So beautiful palette. Shame on me. I did a couple looks and that was all I could get out of it. I know, you guys. So this quarter we decided that we were going to roll in some singles. So I pulled out a couple of my magnetic palettes, and I decided that I wanted to roll in my Gimme Glow singles. I love these. And my Terra Moons and JD Glow singles, because they need some love. And I think there's one, these are my Terra Moons, and there is one Shine by SD. Yeah? Yeah. This is Shine by SD. The smaller pans are Terra Moons, and the bigger pans are JD Glow. So I'm going to have a lot of fun using these over the next quarter, I hope. And I'll come back to you each Eyes Project Pan update and let you know how I've done with those. Okay, so for the palettes that I've used since the last update, I'm going to kind of go smallest to largest. This was one that I brought into my collection recently. It is the Natasha Denona Mini Starlit palette. It is lovely. I thought it was going to be more well, no, I guess I knew it was going to be mauve. I thought it would be a little bit more brown leaning though, but it is beautiful. I love these minis. The only thing I hate about them is that you can't pop the pans out. I wish you could, and everybody says that, but I wish you could pop the pans out of these like you can with her, hold on, larger 5-pan palettes. This is the Ayana palette. This is absolutely gorgeous. I loved this. It blended so well. It worked well together, and you can pop the shades out. So I wish you could do that with the little mini Starlet one as well, but I digress, you can't. I also used the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions palette. This was absolutely gorgeous. I had a lot of fun with this. This bright green was quite lovely. It doesn't look that bright though, hang on. It's more like a mint green. And then here's a couple of the shimmers. Now, I like the palette that Ruth sent me better. That is green. But I'm not complaining about this one because I really enjoy this as well. So that's sticking around in my collection. I also used the two NARS palettes. I got these from Marshall's, and they were like totally still wrapped up and like sealed. So I know nobody had their grubby little paws in them before me. I gotta tell you, if you haven't tried NARS eyeshadows, like you're sleeping on NARS a little bit. These are lovely and they blend beautifully and they're pigmented. This is the Summer Solstice palette. It's just gorgeous. I mean, it's nothing like fancy. You're not getting indie shades here, but they work, they're workhorses and they blend beautifully. They're gorgeous. So here's Summer Solstice and this one is Extreme Effects. So those are the two NARS palettes I used. I did a look with each one. I really enjoyed it. I'm thrilled to have them and they're sticking around. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. All right, this one was a dud. The MAC, this was a holiday palette, Feast Your Eyes, the eyeshadow ×8 Feast Your Eyes palette. I was really bummed out about this. Jen was not thrilled with this either. In fact, she decluttered this to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna swatch a couple of them and you're gonna be like, Kim, why are you getting rid of them? Well, they don't perform very well. If you can tell, like they're kind of chunky and the payoff just is not there. And like, there's one, there's the other, that's okay. But then like, you can't even see the other one. So they're just very disappointing. And I feel like the teenagers that I teach will enjoy it a lot more than me. And they will be very, very excited to get their grubby little paws in this. So if you're watching, girls, this is coming your way. Next up is a Natasha Denona palette that I really, really enjoyed. Sorry, there was eyeshadow everywhere. Especially since a while back when I bought this palette, I was like, Jen, I don't know what to do. And it was one of those, what would Jen do situations? Because she always makes such pretty eyeshadow looks. And I used one of the colorways she chose for me. This is what this palette looks like. It is absolutely stunning. I love that you can pull the shadows out of here. They're magnetic and you can mix and match if you want. But this is this Sunset palette. It is absolutely gorgeous. Here are some, I mean, it's the typical Natasha Denona quality. She has beautiful eyeshadow. You can't mess with it. I mean, they're gorgeous. They blend nice. I know some people, they're not huge fans, but I really like her formula. I think it's really pretty and I know what to expect when I use it. So for me, it's a win. All right, next up I have 3 Nomad palettes. I was like, come hell or high water, I am playing with my Nomad palettes. So the first one is the Nomad Cartagena Magica palette. I would not have picked this up on my own. But Valerie saw a deal where it was like 4 palettes for a certain amount. Does anybody want to go in on them? And I was like, I would. So I chose this palette. I think she already had it. So she was like, you need to take that one for sure. And I was like, okay. But I love this. Toda la Vida, de Soledad, and Más Intensa. I'm going to swatch those. Oh my God. That bright yellow one. Woo! I mean, these are gorgeous. I really like the Nomad formula. I think my brand is Nomad. Nomad and Natasha Denona are like the brands that I feel like I love the most right now. I had a really fun time using this, and the looks that I made with it came out beautifully. So I'm very happy with that. The other one I have is the Nomad America's Parks collection. This is a gorgeous palette as well. I love the swirliness in those pans. I love Nomad's pan embossings. Let me swatch a couple of these for you. Oh, this green one, and then this was a pretty one too. But they're like, some of them are like stone shades, but then you get these zingers in there with like the water and the greens. Just gorgeous, beautiful. You know, I know what to expect with Nomad. It works well. I was not disappointed at all. And then, oh, last but not least is the Ghost Town palette. I am so glad I got this one. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. I keep saying that. You can get a bluey, greeny look. You can get a neutral look here. I'm gonna swatch some of these. I got Quicksilver here, Rhyolite Nevada, let's see, Ghost Train. And this Quicksilver one is like almost like a putty formula. Actually, so is Rhyolite. The shimmers are almost like this putty formula. I mean, look at that. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful. So, Nomads are not going anywhere. Pry them out of my cold, dead hands. Get off. I'm trying to wipe off my swatches in between so I can keep swatching. Okay, so that is staying. And then last but not least, I use this Pat McGrath Artistry palette. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. Now, there has been some polarizing thoughts about her holiday palettes. This was the one I think everybody thought performed very, very well. And I would agree with that. First of all, this packaging. I mean, really? Mother Pat, she's something else. And here is what this beautiful thing looks like. It's got the ribbons holding it up like a little present, but this is beautiful. It's got such pretty shades in there. I am not getting rid of this one either. I just feel like they blend very, very well. I'm showing you some shimmers, of course. Oh my gosh, they go on like liquid. I mean, they're gorgeous. Look at that. So, you know, I know that it's not going anywhere. I love it. And I'm so happy I picked it up. I saw it at TJ Maxx. It was completely sealed. And I think I picked up like 3 of them. One for Jen. Jen wanted to get one for Deb. Yeah, I got mine. So we all got them. Well, a lot of us did. And I loved it. So the only assignment Deb gives us with this project is peek in a pit. And I'm not going to say anything about Glaminatrix or my Pan Those palettes. That's a separate thing. So I'm just going to go off eyes. What was my favorite and what was my not so favorite? Well, my pit, let's go with that, is this MAC palette. It's just not it. No, thank you. I'm going to declutter this. It'll live a good life with my high school students. They will love it. But it's just with all the things I have in my collection, I'm like, I know I would not get use out of this. What's my peak? The Nomad Ghost Town palette. This, like, I'm not going to be able to wait to be able to pick this back up again. It is beautiful. And I do think about it when I'm putting on my makeup and I have to use something else. I'm like, oh, I should use that Ghost Town palette. But very sadly, it'll be put back in my drawer right now. But if you guys have been around for any length of time, you know that I am decluttering my collection as I go because I want to make room for all my gems to actually get some more use. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys let me do what I want on my channel and you don't give me any crap. You just are here for the ride. And it seems like I feel like I'm having a really good balance of using, decluttering, and keeping. Like, I'm not going to declutter because, oh, I just don't, you know, it's not, you know, I'm going to declutter it if I truly don't like it, if it doesn't perform well, or if it's off. Simple as that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for giving me a part of your day today. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.